Hello, everybody. It's Thea Daniels, and I am here tonight with Kenny Metcalf / Elton John. Oh, go ahead, say that again.
Elton John.
Oh, you can't make this up. So this is raw video, real, authentic, with people willing to share their passion. So tonight I want to ask you, Kenny, what is it that got you started with music, maybe specific to playing Elton John? Was it a song? Tell us.
Well, I come from a background of musicians in my family on my mother's side, and my great uncle. We're doing a live video right now, and my great uncle used to play with Benny Goodman and Tommy Dorsey. He was a sax player and clarinet player, and so I inherited music from that side. But I was a drummer for 10 years before I ever took up the piano. And freshman year in high school for me was 1973, and in 1973, Benny and the Jets, well, the piano, you can't hear it, but anyways, Benny and the Jets was #1 on the charts, and junior classmate came in and started playing Benny and the Jets on the piano, and all the girls went around that piano with him and started singing with him. And I looked at my best friend and I said, I've never had that effect on a girl while playing drums. You can't serenade a girl with a drum set. And so my mother just bought a piano, and I went home, and I'm self-taught. So I play by ear.
Really?
But I know notes and stuff now. I taught myself all those things, but I'm self-taught. And so when we played our show tonight, everything is all up here. From Funeral for a Friend to Benny the Jets to everything. It's all in memory. And but all the notes, note for note. And so that's what really got me motivated to be a piano player was, girls, of course. And so, anyways, I've been playing
piano. Still keeps you motivated?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Along with the crowds. I mean, the dancing. It was hot as heck today.
And they just jumped right in.
So you shared a story with us that really captured my heart. And would you share it with us here on the Vlogcast?
All right. 17 years ago, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, and I came out of nowhere, and I started getting sores on my skin, like a little pimple or a blister, but it would spread, but they wouldn't heal. Once it was there, it stayed, and so then it would get in my bloodstream and it'd go somewhere else, and it'd keep creating sores, and I was covered with sores from head to toe, inside and out. The inside of my mouth was peeling off. The skin on the outside was peeling off. If you look up Kenny Metcalf, and you can Google the name, you'll see my story, the miracle. But it took me to death's door in a year and 3/4. It took 8 months for the doctors to diagnose what it was. But if I was to eat the center of white bread, like Wonder Bread, it would peel my gums off.
Oh my.
If I closed my lips for 10 minutes, they'd stick together, and when I opened them, would tear my skin off. And so, the disease was absolutely so painful that towards the very last month, I couldn't wear clothes, and I was laying on the bathroom floor dying because I couldn't wear clothes, and I was just bleeding to death inside and out. And the doctors, they told me that, if I was lucky, I'd live maybe 5 more years at the time when they diagnosed it. But it was only less than 3/4 of a year from that time that it took me to death's door. And so anyways, I was gone, I was done. I had asked God to kill me 3 times. It was that painful.
Wow.
But each time I honestly said, it's nevertheless not my will. If that's what you want from me, I'm okay with it. I was ready to meet God. And so anyways, it was my daughter, who's in the band. She called my wife, and she goes, she says, you got to come home, Dad's fading. He's going. And fading out. I was dying. I was done with life. I couldn't drink water. Water felt like I was drinking broken glass. So you lose your desire to eat. You lose your desire for everything. And so they picked me up. They just wrapped the sheet around me because I didn't have any clothes on. And they took me to the hospital. And as they were rolling me down the hallway, my eyes were rolling back in my head, and I was fading out. And my wife yelled, "You're not leaving me yet." And when she did that, the doctors were there, and they watched it, and something snapped in my spirit, and I came back, but I was still in pain. And I was in the hospital for 6 weeks in a burn unit. They treated me like a burn victim.
Wow.
They would soak me in a hot tub, and this is the gross part, for hot as I could stand for an hour, and then they scrub my flesh off. and then they'd wrap me up with all kinds of stuff, and I got out of the hospital and I had to do it myself. And so that was a long process. And I started on drugs, IVIG, intravenous stuff. And it was 9 years on that. Prednisone, I mean, my face was like fat and everything. But I lived through all of this stuff. And then while I was still in bed with muscle atrophy, this is the deeper part of the story, I didn't really share it today. But with muscle atrophy, a friend came up and he says, you know, you always kind of sounded like Elton. He goes, I bet if you studied his voice, you could make a living again and, you know, and get out of bed. And so I spent 12 months putting the show together. But I actually sat at the piano. I said, all right, God, if I'm going to do this, I want you to be a part of it, but I want to be the best at it in the world. That's what I said. Anyways, just from that, it was 5 years later, the world's greatest tribute bands on AXStv. Mark Cuban and Ryan Seacrest found me through their producer, Katie Darrell, and they gave me a 1 hour live national broadcast to 40 million viewers, and that launched the band and the show. And so it got me out of bed, and we started playing places. I mean, I'll go out on stage, nobody opens for us, and there's 15,000 people there. So what I get to do now is what I've always loved doing since I was a little kid, musical theater. So, you know, to wear the clothes, the costume, but we are the band. We've learned it note for note. We want to sound like the record when we're doing these things, and so we play it that way. And so it's like you're listening to the real guy. And so,
yes, it is.
So I tell the story because people need to know that pain is pain, and my pain is no different than your pain. Because it's pain and it hurts, and so don't give up. I didn't give up. I was fading out, but my wife says, you're not leaving me yet, and something happened.
It was a girl
and it was
again.
A girl again. And I met her in junior high, and and actually today is you know what is the date today? Anybody
it's the
know?
Third, right?
It's the 3rd of October. The 17th of October is my 41st wedding anniversary.
Woo-hoo!
And I still love that lady with all my heart. So anyways, this is musical theater, but if you got anything that you're going through, you don't give up. Don't ever give up. I don't care if the doctor tells you're going to die, because the doctor did tell me, he goes, you're going to die. And I said, no, you don't know the God that I serve. I actually told him that because I've almost died so many times growing up, and I've seen miracles happen. So I had no reason to think another one wouldn't happen. And look, it did.
Yes,
so
it did.
anyway, so never give up hope. That's the whole point, you know?
That's quite a point. That's quite a point.
And so Google Kenny Metcalf, and you can see the sores. You can see my arms right now. There's nothing on them. There's
Check
no
out those
sores.
arms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. but there's no sores on any of my body, inside or out, and completely healed. The doctors called me cured 7 years ago. I've been off of every medication for 7 years, and they said you're cured. You're not in whatever somebody goes through and they're in
remission.
Yeah, they said no, you're not in remission. You are cured. And I was like, well, that was another miracle. So there it is.
Music heals.
And music. Oh, yeah, and that was another thing the doctors said. The doctors told me about playing. They said they were afraid of it in the beginning of me going out and even being in the sunlight, and because it could aggravate. Well, anyways, with all of that, they said they really believed that music helped heal me too. And
Absolutely.
Because my attitude, my spirit, positive endorphins, those that go to live concerts and sing and dance live longer and are happier. And I get to do this and put smiles on people's faces. And so, see, that's healthy.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So
yes.
thank you for putting me
Sharing
on your
the love.
Thank you.
story.
Thank you for saying yes.
Oh, my pleasure.
You're awesome. Bye. Cheers, everybody. That's R.A.W.Vlogcast with Kenny Metcalf /
Elton.
Go ahead. I love the way he says it.
Kenny Metcalf as Elton John. And you can tell everybody this is your song. There you go.
That's right. And I get to publish this.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Send it off to the world. Pass it on. Share it with somebody. Go on. What are you waiting for? Come on.
And share it when you hear it and see it too.
That's right.
Cheers, everybody. Thank you.
My pleasure.